burned down my father's cabin. So I watched his world burn inch by inch. My dad didn't leave me much when he died. No trust fund, no classic car in a garage under a tarp, not even a box of old war medals. What he left me was quieter, stronger, a place, a cabin in the woods he built with his own 2 hands. It wasn't fancy, no running water, no heating, no cell service. But when I was a kid, it was heaven. We'd chop wood, catch fish, sit under the stars, and talk about everything and nothing. He called it our fortress. And when he died of a heart attack 5 years ago, that cabin was the only piece of him I had left. So when I drove up one weekend and found it burned to the goddamn ground, I felt something inside me crack. The trees were scorched, the ash was still warm. My dad's old tools melted into slag. The old photos we nailed to the beams, gone. I stood there with my mouth open like I could still taste the smoke. The fire marshal ruled it arson, but no suspect, no arrest, no leads. Until 2 months later at the town bar, a drunk idiot named Clay, this loudmouthed bastard who owned a local construction company, bragged about how he finally got rid of that rat shack that was ruining the view from his new rental cabins. Said it was a safety hazard, said no one used it anyway. He laughed. The bartender laughed. I didn't scream. I didn't throw a punch. I didn't even flinch. I just sipped my beer and memorized every word, then I got to work. See, Clay was the kind of guy who thought respect meant how loudly people agreed with him. A man with no taste, no patience, and no idea that someone could hate him enough to plot his downfall over months. He should have worried more about the quiet ones. First, it was his fishing boat. Clay bragged about it online constantly, except the town didn't know he was storing illegal gas tanks in the back. A quiet night, a flicked match in the dock's garbage can, and boom, boat gone. Fire marshal ruled it improper fuel storage. 2 weeks later, his storage shed caught fire. The same one he used to hoard stolen construction tools for insurance scams. I timed it after his company closed up for the weekend. No one hurt, nothing traceable, just gone. Fire marshal blamed faulty wiring. I even had time to make a toasted marshmallow on a nearby stump. By the time Clay started suspecting someone was after him, he was paranoid. Jumpy. He accused his own cousin of sabotage, fired his own foreman. The guy was spiraling. His face started showing up red and sweaty in every local event photo, like a man who knew karma was pacing outside his door. Then I hit him where it hurt most, his precious car, a brand new truck wrapped in custom camo vinyl, always parked in his front drive like a damn trophy. I didn't burn it, no, too suspicious. Instead, I rigged a slow leak in the gas tank with a tiny piece of drilled copper. By the end of the week, he'd driven it dry 3 times. He replaced the pump twice. I made sure a gas station employee accidentally spilled the details to me. So the next fire, his dog's kennel. He didn't care about much, but he loved that stupid dog like a son. I didn't hurt the animal. Relax. I'm not a cartoon villain. I waited until Clay took it for a weekend hunting trip. Then I burned the kennel down to black sticks and left a collar in the ashes. When he got back, he thought someone had killed his dog. He cried. I watched from the woods. He started losing sleep. His face sunk in. His hands shook. And finally, I burned his house, but not with fire. That would have been too kind. I destroyed it piece by piece. First, I got into his water line and swapped it with a tank I filled with rotting meat. Then I cracked his septic line just enough for it to leak under his floorboards. Then I planted little bits of black mold in the corners of his drywall. I even mailed the Department of Health an anonymous tip. One by one, his family left him. His tenants moved out. His insurance dropped him. By the time the house actually caught fire, during a thunderstorm blamed on lightning, he was already living in his truck, talking to himself, smelling like garbage and fear. I visited him a week later. I wore a hat, sat next to him in the same bar where he bragged about burning down my cabin. He didn't recognize me. He just asked me for spare change. I leaned in, real close, and whispered, I told my dad one day I'd build our fortress again, but first I wanted to make room. Clay's in a state hospital now. They say he won't speak to anyone. Keeps sketching little cabins in the woods over and over. And me, I sleep just fine, because I didn't just get revenge. I erased him like he was ash.